Let's watch this video.
What's your age?
22.
Are you single?
No.
How long you had a man?
5 years.
And how long have you had a baby?
He's almost 2.
Was it with him or with somebody else?
Tim?
I don't know why that's a funny question to me. How long you had a man? 5 years. How old's your baby? 2. With him? Nah. I was cheating him with the next man, and he's taking care of a cuck baby. I don't know.
Like taking care of a cuck baby?
Yeah. Basically, he's a cult. Cuck baby.
That's a crazy thing to call one of your classmates. Cuck baby, cuck baby.
I'm just saying, it's just so like you've been spending too much time in the red pill space when people ask that question, and they think it's a sensible question. Couples been together for 10 years. Oh, how many kids y'all got? 3. How old are they? 2, 3, and 4. Are they all your husband?
Are they all your husband or you a whore?
Yeah.
So how much does he have to make to take care of you and your daughter?
At least $1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month?
Food, groceries, car insurance, diapers, wipes.
Now, how much would you say a man has to make annually to take care of a family of 3?
Annually, overall, at least 30 grand a year.
On just a baby? Or,
Every expense you would need for a stay-at-home mom and a child.
but if he's spending $30K a year on,
What?
The math is not math.
Isn't it?
I don't mind you, lady. Because you're not like, it's not that much, whatever, man, whatever. Or you're not aware, or you're a stay-at-home mom and you're not aware of what's the prices out there. But $30K a year for a family of 3? I don't know in what trailer park you live.
I mean,
I'm not from the US, so I cannot comment on those prices. But she was talking about a K a month, so a K a month actually adds up to 12K per year, actually. So she's probably putting 30K, already considering how much is the other expenses beside the child itself and whatever. But I mean, if you downsize, you don't need to live in a trailer park. But if you live a life in which you don't buy a bunch of televisions and clothes and computers all the time, if you literally just consume what you need, which is basically pay for a house, maybe even a vehicle. It doesn't have to be a car, it doesn't have to have insurance, it can be just a scooter or something. Or public transport even, which is not ideal. If you eat properly, it's actually very cheap to eat properly. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it rounds up to around 30K a year in the US. Why not? Most people waste a bunch of money in coffee, like $5 a day in coffee, cigarettes, snacks, a car that they don't need, a house that is way too big for their needs, always buying a bunch of materialistic things that are not going to provide you happiness.
Bang, 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 bang,
and
bang,
also
bang,
to be
bang.
fair, we're city people. Plenty of people in rural areas make that work, depending on where they're starting. Are they starting off in a high rent area or low rent area? Depending on a lot of places.
Yeah, why would you go to a high rent area if high rent means paying a higher rent? Why? I mean, just why would you live in a city? It's not as healthy than living in a rural area. Rural areas have better air, are more calm. You can rest more. You can go more in nature. Why would you live in a city?
Not wrong.
See, we have to also take ourselves out of the fact that we think our reality is everybody else's reality. 35 grand a month on a couple who are not spending like crazy.
You're not wrong.
I'm again not informed, but I wouldn't be surprised if you can do just fine with 25.
Because I got family that are rural and just the prices of the house. I remember my wife's cousin.
But it depends a lot in the rural areas. There are rural areas where you pay a lot, and there are ones that you don't pay as much. I mean, you could just buy. I mean, then again, I'm falling in your example. But you could just buy a very good trailer, and instead of putting in a park, buying a nice piece of land in a natural environment, and you can just live there. You don't need to waste that much water. You don't need to waste that much energy. There are people, like there is this YouTube guy called Oklahoma Off Grid. He's a great example of that, and he has zero expenses for a month. That's what he says. He hunts his own food, which is incredible, intelligent. His electricity is free because he has solar panels. His water is free because he has a tank.
Her house for 100,000 back then.
Yeah.
It's paid since then. But
Yeah.
it's like it's two of them. They good.
Right.
But
And I mean, it's not like he's living in a trailer park with a bunch of other people. He has his own piece of land where he has comfort and privacy and whatnot.
a lot of people around their way. Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong.
Also,
You're
it's
not
possible they may have inherited a small home from somebody in a rural area. We don't know the situation.
wrong. Yeah, but,
the idea,
they also don't spend as much as us. You know
right?
what I mean?
Because how much?
That's also the. I mean, for example, this Oklahoma guy, he basically bought and paid for like 10 years or so his piece of land and whatever, and now it's paid for. It's not. If he just paid every single month, it would add up to maybe like 5K a year or something, 10K a year. I don't know.
Said, how much does he need to make to take care of you and the baby? She said about $1,000 a month. Some people don't believe that, but that's actually very reasonable for a lot of folks.
It's not reasonable.
I mean, if she's staying at home, he can be homeschooled, meaning you don't have to have expenses with a bunch of crap and books and backpacks and whatever, sending him to school, the transport, all that crap, paying for the meat in the school, the meals in the school. You can just do it at home. If you don't even register your child, you don't even have to pay for nothing, not even homeschooling. The only true expense in our world, which is absolutely necessary if you live in society, is a house, and is what is around the house, as in electricity, internet, water, and your food. If you live in the wild, in a freaking cave, a rock shelter, you don't have to pay nothing ever. You have to understand that everything that is good for us is free. The sun is free, the wind is free, the food is free, you just have to hunt it. Raising kids is free, everything is free in the wild. If you go to society, you pay for the convenience of having an isolated house, electricity, artificial things. You only pay for artificial things. So why would you pay for the artificial things that don't provide you with the basic comfort that are, when I say basic, I'm saying in a way that I'm referring to what actually is impactful. You having the iPhone 17 instead of the 13 or whatever is not going to impact your life in any way, shape or form. You having this leather jacket or this whatever fancy headlamp or something is not going to change your life whatsoever. But having a isolated home with insulated, you say insulated in English, with comfort, warmth, you live in a nice area with a good air to breathe, that is impactful. I mean, in my country, and I live in Europe, I can literally, in terms of food, I can literally live on high quality carnivorous diet for around 200-300 bucks a month. So if I had a wife and a child, it would add up to around 1K per month, plus the house expenses. I mean, I can perfectly see the 30K being perfectly doable in the US.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Cause yeah, you're right. The big city thing does come into factor and stuff like that. The fact that we go out a lot. The fact that I don't have a kid, so I spend on a lot of fucking shit that they're not.
Yeah, when you don't have a kid, you just end up buying crap just to entertain yourself. I really like this duo. Very nice back and forth, because one sort of calls on the other and the other calls on the one. Yeah, really nice. And yeah, it is indeed true that it's a big difference when you just buy what actually is impactful for your comfort, or you're buying a bunch of crap, like going out, traveling. What the hell do you need to go out for when you have a family? You only go out before you have a family, while you're still a teen or something, because you need company. You need to be surrounded by other kids your age. Once you have a family, you're already surrounded by people your age and by one that you made, by this amazing life force that came out of you. Why would you want to go anywhere else? Only when you are uncomfortable in your own skin do you strive for traveling and whatnot. They are just copes. Career and traveling, all these obsessions, they are just copes. When you're comfortable in your own skin, you don't want to do anything else than just chilling, relaxing, enjoying your family, treating kids if you're the women, going for hunting if you're the man.
Spent on in a lot of rural places. I think you're right.
And here's the other end of that. People say, "Oh, she sounds ridiculous." On the other hand, you have so many people who are going to say stuff like, "Oh, you need to now be making $100K each to be able to manage it, or you need $135K combined income." It depends on where you live.
It depends on where you live.
But that's definitely not true for most of the place that you live in. It depends.
I mean, okay, there is a good point here, because if indeed you want to live a very casual, comfortable, light, tranquil life, but in a place where things are most expensive, or in a country where things are most expensive, the amount of money that you have to bring home every single month will be higher. Will have to be higher. It's just what it is. I mean, and I do understand that you might want to stay in this specific place because it's where your parents are, your children, whatever. So even though you could just move to a way cheaper area, it's where your family is. And I cannot argument with that, because there's nothing more important than the people we connect with, what we call family, independent of it's blood or not blood related. So my recommendation to anybody, independently of where you live or whatever, just downsize as much as possible. Not in the terms of reduce your comfort, but actually create a minimalistic sort of life. As in, instead of having 200 coats in your closet, you have only your favorites, which might be like 5. Why do you want to keep the other 195 if they are not even your favorites? Why keep a bunch of crap in your house? Why always being obsessed? Why keeping so many foods or whatever? If it's natural foods, you can just keep your favorites. You can eat honey on a daily if you don't abuse it. You can eat fruit on a daily if you don't abuse it. Because they're only autumn foods. I mean, they're for survival. You can have dairy from A2 cows or sheep or goats. You can have red meat from wild fed animals or ruminants if that's what's available to you. You can have eggs that are from pasture raised chicken. You can have a very good, very pleasant diet that is good for you, that's going to give you health. If you have health, you don't have health bills, and you feel more in peace with yourself. If you feel at peace with yourself, you don't need to go exercise to basically distract from how crappy you feel. You don't have to get a motorcycle to drive fast in order to distract yourself from how crappy you feel. If you are at peace with yourself because of how you eat, because it's the most impactful thing of what you consume, then you are perfectly happy with your wife and your kid at home. And if you are still single, you are perfectly happy as a single man in the whatever current stage of your life it is. Because fate rarely calls upon us at the moment of our choosing. Quote unquote Transformers movie. Thanks for watching.